So we've got to look at where we have a winter weather advisory. It does not include the Atlanta metro area. It's actually well to the south here in central southern Georgia. We're talking Macon, Milledgeville, down to Albany, Georgia, Douglas, Dublin, all in a winter weather advisory, which means we could have impacts due to wintry weather, making travel a little treacherous at times, especially here in the south where we're not as equipped to deal with the snow like they are to the north. At this point, it's not a winter storm watch or a warning. We're not expecting huge impacts. However, it really depends on the track of that low pressure storm. Reynolds talked about its impacts toward the northeast, but eventually we'll get those temperatures cold enough all the way down to the Gulf Coast. And then, of course, we need that moisture and this low pressure supplying that. But depending on the track of that low determines who gets in on some of that frozen precipitation. So right now it's looking like the Euro wants to bring some measurable snow to parts of North Carolina, also into south and central Georgia. The American model wants to do even better for some of these areas, even down into the Florida Panhandle. We're kind of leaning towards the Euro at this point. Yes, there will be some novelty flakes, maybe even some light accumulation of snow, but it starts as rain, and then eventually that cold air, you're going to feel it by tomorrow. So hopefully the winds are, not going to be too misbehaving for you, but we already know the road conditions horrible. We've had blizzard conditions not only in North Dakota, but northwestern Minnesota. Everywhere you see the blue, that's slick conditions, but the pink, snow covered, and even in that purple shade up across the northeastern corner of North Dakota, that's where we have dangerous and at times impassable roadways. So this is a look at the snow cover on the ground right now. Marquette seeing a phenomenal season when it comes to snowfall so far this year. We've got a surplus of close to 50 inches. We're going to add to that in the coming days with lake effect eventually kicking in. But for now, it's the blizzard warning that we're focusing on. Eastern North Dakota, western Minnesota with that blizzard warning. Remember, it has nothing to do with the amount of snow, but rather the visibility, those winds gusting 35 or higher for 3 hours in a row. And as you can see, those winds are not just strong today, but even stronger as we head into the second half of the weekend. Reynolds?
Well, Kelly, our nose can tell us about...
If you spend too much time outdoors in that kind of weather and you're not prepared for the elements, frostbite and hypothermia can set in rather quickly. So it's not just uncomfortable cold, it will be dangerous for so many. As you can see, Monday into Tuesday, more than 220 million of us will see 32 or below. And notice how we have even the Gulf Coast, even down to Florida, we are going to be down into the freezing territory. So let's look at the air to the north of us here over the lower 48 up into Canada. The Arctic Circle, this is where our cold air is coming from, where it feels like minus 56 in Cambridge Bay. Now, this air does moderate as the parcels come down into the lower 48, but it's still going to be mighty cold, especially with this Arctic air blasting on down, making it feel like negative 29 currently in Bismarck. Right now in Chicago, it feels like minus 3, but it only gets worse, minus 29 in Pierre. I don't know if you saw that in South Dakota. It is already hard to take. And here is a look at later this morning. We're going to have those temperatures going down, these clipper systems reinforcing the cold air all across the Great Lakes and eventually into the Northeast. We're here too. It will start to feel pretty cold in a place like Rochester, single digits Monday morning. Yes, a lot of us feeling below zero. Check out Duluth, negative 34 as we head into Monday morning. It's a holiday, I know, on Monday, but still Tuesday morning for the kids at the bus stop, it is still going to be dangerously cold out there. For Chicago, we've got teens below zero all day long. On Monday, on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, it is going to be brutal. New York City, not as cold as Chicago, but still, teens and low 20s. That's what it's going to feel like as you're walking between the buildings and at Times Square. And that cold air filters all the way down here to the Gulf Coast. Atlanta, not so bad right now, but just you watch. See that cold air is coming back in as we head toward the second half of the weekend and into the start of the week where Reynolds, we could get a taste of that wintry precip south of Atlanta during the day tomorrow.
It is all possible. Hey, game on for your dog walk.